all-knowing and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle. Chapter 14. Hell. Damn little beast, I really should have killed you in advance. Donald, who was not far away, had a fierce look in his eyes and gritted his teeth. I thought that everything was under control, but it was actually broken by a little furry boy at the convenience store cashier. Logan, who was pressed to the ground by a group of special forces, raised his head with difficulty, and the anxious emotion in his eyes had long been replaced by shock. In a trance, Logan seemed to be able to see his younger self from the yellow-skinned boy. Cold, brutal, straightforward. If you don't move, you will seal your throat. Taking human lives without saying a word, even the way of fighting is similar. Inside the Chrysler car, Professor Charles, sitting in the back seat, seemed to sense something. In the originally stunned gaze, a trace of clarity gradually recovered, and a touch of disbelief was revealed. At some point, he seemed to feel an incredible ability from the other party. Ugh. At this time, Logan, who was suppressed by several people, suddenly came back to his senses, let out a roar in his mouth, and launched a counterattack not to be outdone. The elderly body burst out with a power that did not belong to this age, and directly overturned several people around. Logan rolled, and his sharp steel claws cut an icy arc in the air, straight through the chest of a special soldier. Until this time, the old wolf finally showed his slightly loose fangs but still not falling off. The battle is completely on. Between the electric stone fire, Logan swung out a few more claws, each time taking a life. Quick, shoot them, quote. Donald stepped back in horror, saying that it was all a lie to say that he was not panicked. Just kidding, this old guy is the mutant he admires the most. Perhaps Wolverine's deeds will be forgotten over time, but Donald remembers it clearly. Even if Uncle Wolf is old, his strength is not comparable to ordinary people. At this time, Logan has already set off a bloody storm, and everyone in sight has been killed. The blood that flew in the line of sight, the fishy smell that filled the nasal passages, and the touch from the steel claws. All this made Logan feel as if his younger self had returned. The other side, Chen Tian was also painting a picture from hell with knife light and blood, and the sound of gunfire and screams mixed with each other echoed above the factory area. Appearing both tragic and poignant. Under the combination of one old and one young, the special forces are not opponents at all, and the arms of the whole body are as fragile as paper. A moment later, there were already large corpses on the ground, and the dark red blood penetrated the large area of the ground, appearing turbid and dirty, and emitting a disgusting fishy smell. Shit. Donald looked at the scene like purgatory, and immediately took a few of his subordinates to protect himself, ready to escape from this place of right and wrong. Just as he turned around, the door of the dilapidated factory building was pushed open, and a petite figure came out of it. After seeing the comer, Donald felt cold in his heart. This is the mission target X-24, also called Laura. Laura, go far. Logan saw Laura come out, and he hurried to this side as fast as he could. However, Laura, who heard the shout, was unmoved, staring at Donald and the others with a pair of eyes, without the innocence that should be at this age. Instead, it exudes a strong, killing intent. Next second, Laura leaned down, landed on all fours, kicked her legs sharply, and threw herself at Donald and the others. In the face of Laura's sudden outburst, the armed men at the front of the team did not have time to react and were directly thrown to the ground. Scold. A metallic vibration characteristic hum sounded, and steel claws very similar to Logan's protruded from Laura's immature fist. Laura's eyes were full of fierceness, and she raised her hand and directly cut off the neck of the person under her with a wave of her hand. Her head rolled to the ground, warm blood spilled on her tender face, and slowly slid down. What? Rogan's wild pace suddenly stopped, and his heart shook. How could this girl be so similar to herself? Damn, don't be stunned. Hurry up and shoot, Donald roared as he stepped back. But before everyone could react, Laura pounced on the person beside her, her slender arms waved, and another living life became cold in her hands. Laura, who has been cultivated as a killing machine since she was a child, shows an extremely murderous scene at this moment. A gunshot suddenly pierced the sky. Immediately after, endless gunfire bloomed. Laura's petite and flexible body shuttles through the crowd. Even if she is hit by a bullet, she can quickly get up, the wound gradually heals. And she launches a more violent attack under the stimulation of pain. It was only a moment's effort, and the rest of the special forces fell in a pool of blood. In the end, only Donald remained. Pierce alone. He stumbled and slowly retreated to the Chrysler sedan. It seems that someone is in danger. Chen Tian's eyes narrowed slightly, and he walked towards him holding the dagger. He doesn't have a soft spot for this guy, neither in movies nor in reality. At the same time, Logan and Laura also gathered around, their eyes full of resentment. Hey, guys, calm down, we have something to discuss. Donald looked at the three eyes full of killing intent and swallowed his spit with difficulty. Chapter 18, X-23. Leave the factory and head to a new place. Actually, we can solve the problem in another way. Killing me is not good for any of you. Donald felt the killing intent under the eyes of the three and quickly raised his hand to beg for mercy. Phew. However, the petite figure walking in front suddenly waved his steel claws and flashed cold, cutting off his mechanical arm like cutting paper. Hey. Donald leaned back in a little panic. Don't mess with the kids. Chen Tian leaned over and pulled the girl to him, smiled at the tone of the elder and said, put your paws away. Quote. Laura frowned in displeasure and tried to break free, only to find that the big hand was like an iron tong. Although she is a product of the Research Institute's genes using Wolverine Logan, she has undergone brutal and abusive training from an early age. But because he is still young, his own strength is still not a small gap compared to Uncle Wolf at his peak. But Chen Tian's current strength is the same as that of peak Wolf Uncle, and he is naturally much stronger than Laura. In the end, he could only purse his mouth and put away the steel claws. Uncle Wolf, your daughter is quite well behaved. Chen Tian looked at Uncle Wolf and quipped. Chen, she's not my daughter. You hurry up and get in the car. Uncle Wolf glanced at the girl with a little headache, opened the car door and pushed it to the back seat. Well, it's time to deal with this damn guy. When Chen Tian's gaze fell on Donald, the warmth in his eyes had completely dissipated, replaced by a cold glow like winter. You come to me. Logan roughly tugged at Conrad's collar, dragged him behind him, and walked towards the factory. He wanted to find out the purpose of this group of people to capture Laura. After all, what kind of person would do something to a 13 or 14-year-old girl? Calm down, Uncle Wolf, it's not good for you to kill me, and people from the Genetic Research Institute will come to you. Let go of me, I can tell you the truth. As the surrounding light became dim, Conrad's heart gradually sank, knowing that if he did not ask for mercy, he would definitely die a tragic death in this place. Tell me. Logan stopped, his arm slamming against the wall. The steel claw of the other hand has already poked out, flashing with a cold light in the dim light, and it can kill the other party at any time. The tip of the claw that sharpened the iron like mud had already caused a line of blood to appear in Donald's neck. You'd better tell the truth, otherwise. Logan spoke lowly, and the tip of his claws pierced a little deeper.